Good evening, everyone. In today's class, we're going to talk about the Secondary Education Commission 1952 to 53, or we can also say the Mudaliar Commission. The Secondary Education Commission, so now we will see first introduction. A number of commissions had been appointed in the past after independence, which mostly dealt incidentally with certain aspects of secondary education, but no commission had been so far appointed to particularly survey the problems of secondary education. So therefore, the Central Advisory Board of Education, in its meeting held in 1949 and 1951, recommended the appointment of a commission for secondary education, and thus the Secondary Commission was appointed on 23rd September 1952. So the leader of this commission was Dr. Lakshman Swami Mudaliar, who serve as the chairman of the commission, and the other members who are in this commission were John Christic, Ned R. Williams, H. Mehta, J. A. Taraporvela, K. L. Shrimali, M. T. Vyas, K. G. C. Andai, A. N. Basu, and S. M. Chari. This Secondary Education Commission, they work on serving the problems of secondary education, and they came out preparing a questionnaire dealing with various aspects of secondary education, and after that they sent out to various educational expert teachers and education institutions of India. So on the basis of the replies received from those experts, so information was collected. So the members of the commission took an extensive tour of the various parts of India and acquired a first-hand knowledge of the various problems faced in the secondary education in the country. So after they have done the survey and they found out some of the defects of the secondary education, so they said that this secondary education, they have various defects. So some of the defects which I'll be listing out is they said that secondary education is quite bookish. They felt that the secondary education was bookish, mechanical, stereotype, and uniform. And they also come up with that secondary education, there's no qualitative development. Okay, and then also the examination, this examination orientation was too much, and mostly stress on examination, and curriculum was overcrowded. So the method of teaching was not scientific. And also, they said that there is no scope for self-expression, no scope for close contact, no proper atmosphere at home, and lack of good teachers, lack of facilities for play and recreation, lack of co-curricular, and it was impractical. So based on the following defects, okay, the commission came out with the new recommendation, and following will following are the recommendations put forward by this Secondary Education Commission. So now we'll see the recommendations of Secondary Education Commission. The first one, we will see the aims and objectives of secondary education. So what are the aims and objectives of the Secondary Education Commission? The one is development of democratic citizenship. According to Mudaliar Commission, schools should maintain and develop and practice the value of discipline, tolerance, patriotism, cooperation, equality in thoughts, speech, and writing. Second one, development of personality. The secondary education must aim at the development of the personality of the students. And the third one, education for leadership. The secondary education must impart education for leadership to enable the students to own the responsibility of leadership in various fields of life. So as you can see, I've already mentioned you the defects of the secondary education projected out by this commission under the leadership of Mudaliar. So he said that I think there's a need for development of democratic citizenship, and students, they should know about this, and they should not only maintain, develop, but also should practice the value of discipline, the value of tolerance, patriotism, cooperation, equality, okay, which mostly previous commission lack in this, right? The next one is about the development of personality. So mainly this Secondary Education Commission, they aim on bring about the wholesome development of the students. and also make sure that the students, as they come up from the secondary stage or high secondary, the students will be prepared to be responsible person, to be a good citizenship, or sorry, good citizens in the country, right? So these are some of the aims and objectives of secondary education. Now let's see the reorganization of secondary education. The first one is age limit. The period of secondary education should be of 7 years. It should start from the age of 11 and finish at the age of 17 or 18 years. The second one, abolition of intermediate classes. The Commission has suggested the abolition of the present intermediate classes. When we talk about intermediate classes, is a class 11 to 12, right? And the next one is diversification of the course. Multi-purpose schools should be established, like agriculture, technical, commercial schools, to enable the students to acquire education according to diverse aims, interests, and abilities. Public and residential school. Public schools should be allowed to function for about 5 years. Okay, so they said that diversification of the course is needed at this point of time, because they said that it will enable the students to acquire education according to their taste, according to their interests, according to their capabilities, capacities, and so on, right? And when we talk about public school, so it should be allowed to function for only for about 5 years, right? Public or residential school. So these are some of the reorganization of secondary education put forward by the Secondary Education Commission. Next point, let's see the home science for girls. The Commission has recommended for special facilities for the study of home science by the girls. So this subject is very interesting, and most of the girls, they take up this subject, and this subject you can you can go for it in St. Mary's College. They offer this subject, and once you complete your degree from St. Mary's, you can go outside the state and do this subject. Mainly this subject give a lot of scope for the girls, and even I don't know for the boys also maybe, but in St. Mary's it's only for the girls. So the girls who pass out from here, they get, there's a lot there's a lot of scope for them to actually work in hospitals, in private hospitals, in other various fields also, right? So they can later become an entrepreneur, right? So the next one is study of 3 languages. So the Commission also has stressed on the importance of languages, and they also take into consideration while taking up the question of teaching of the languages such as mother tongue, regional languages, classical languages, and English. So basically you will see that teachers here in Shillong, they mostly communicate to you through using the English language, right? But then when you were small, I think somehow the teacher will use the mother tongue language to communicate to you and to make you more understand. But then here in the medium of instruction, at the secondary stage of education should be either the mother tongue or the regional language. Okay, at the secondary stage, remember that. So according to this commission, so at the secondary stage, they have recommended that education should either be taught through mother tongue or regional language. But then at the middle school, every student must be taught at least 2 languages, that is Hindi and English. At the higher secondary stage of education, the mother tongue and regional language should be taught. The next one is place of Hindu. So the study of Hindi, okay, not Hindu. Place of Hindi. The study of Hindi should be compulsory in school. I think all of you must have remembered that when you were in class 4, 5, 6, 7, I think you were introduced to the subject Hindi, right? And all of you have to do it, right? And next one is place of English. The Commission suggested the revision of English as a subject of study at the secondary stage of education. Now we will see the curriculum. The curriculum should touch the life of the students at all points. It should help in the evolution and development of balanced personality. The Commission has recommended the inclusion of English, social studies, general science, mathematics, art and music, craft and physical education. The curriculum for higher secondary school, the Commission has suggested there should be a diversified courses. The subject of curriculum has divided into 2, compulsory and optional. subject. So, according to this commission, they want a curriculum that will touch the lives of the students at various points, at all the points, right? And it should helps in the development of a balanced personality. And these commissions, they bring forward different kind of subjects, not only the academic one, but they also bring forward the art and music, the importance of craft and physical education. And also they have suggested that there should be a diversified courses so that with students belong from different category, right? I would say, right? Some students are very exceptional, some students are average, some students are like this, and all students can, they can address themselves to these courses which they find that they are capable of uh, adapting to it, right? So the subject of curriculum has divided into two, that is compulsory and optional subjects. I think even now also when you are doing this degree at the present, you get the chance to choose which will be the subject that will you have to uh, it will be it is compulsory for you to take it, right? You have no choice, you have to take it. And then there are some subjects that you will choose according to your taste, according to your capacity, right? So this is the curriculum according to this commission. The next one, let's see the selection of textbooks. So this commission also stress on the importance of textbooks. So the central government should set up a new institution or help some existing art school to develop training in the technique of book illustration. The central and the state government should maintain library and collection of blocks of books illustration which be loaned to textbook committee and publisher in order to improve the standard of illustration. Frequent changes should be discouraged in textbooks and book prescribed for studies. Right. So the higher power committee should be constituted for selecting textbooks for study at different stage. It should comprise a high dignitary of the judiciary of the state, preferably a judge of the High Court, a member of the Public Service Commission of the region, a vice chancellor of the region concerned, a headmaster or headmistress of the state, two distinguished educationists to be coopted, and the director of education. This committee should lay down the criteria for the book, right? So as you can see, you have textbooks when you were in school, right? You have English textbooks, science textbooks, mathematics textbooks, and everyone used the same textbooks under these MBOS, Michelin Board of School Education, isn't it? And except the CBSE, right? So it is not easy even to select textbooks for the secondary education, for the primary education, and for the higher education. So a groups of members, belongs to different categories and uh, holding high posts. So they will be the one who will be sitting, who will be deciding which textbooks will be, will be good for this particular classes, which textbooks will be actually helpful for this particular classes, and uh, looking also at the age group, and then also at the development of the children, right? So they have laid down some of these criteria, and some of these criteria I hear that the central government should actually set up a new institution, or to develop training in the technique of book illustration, right? Then also the central and state government should also maintain library and collection of blocks of book of illustration, which which belong to textbook committee and publisher in order to improve the standard of illustration. And so these are some of the criteria put forward by the by the committee of uh, you know the committee who will be looking at for selection of textbooks, right? So it's up to the committee which textbooks needs to be, I mean, like, go for um, really uh, examine, or which textbooks will be rejected and which textbook will be accepted for a particular classes for the students at the secondary stage. The next one is method of teaching. The methods of teaching should not merely aim at imparting knowledge in a thorough manner, it should also aim at inculcating desirable values, attitudes, and habit of work in the students. So, teachers they use different kinds of methods while teaching the students, especially those teachers who are already trained, they know what are the various methods of teaching. So, while they were teaching, they're not only teaching the particular subject, but then they also incorporate in them or they inculcate desirable values, attitudes in the students so that when they finish the secondary education, they will be more adaptable to the higher stage, and as they come off from the higher education they will become a very responsible citizen who will be working for the development of the country, right? So the method should provide opportunity for the students to learn actively and apply mechanically the knowledge acquired in the classroom. So different methods of teaching used by the teacher, like lecture method, demonstration method, discussion method, experimental method, and the project method. So many methods are there. So the teacher will use these different methods according to the topic that they are teaching, and these methods actually they provide opportunity for the students to learn actively. For example, now experimental methods, the students will be actively involved in experimenting a particular objects, right? So also, when the teacher used the discussion method, the students will be actively participating in discussing the various points laid down by the teachers, isn't it? So, yes. So the next one is the students should be trained to acquire the quality of group life and cooperative work, and that will be the best method here would be discussion method, where will be where the students will come together in a group and then they will be discussing about the issues of the of the various topics, and then they will be discussing among the groups, and then they will be introducing themselves to the group, and then they will get a chance to know each other, and they will get the chance to adapt to the group members, and then work on together and come up with ideas shared by the group. So in this way, these methods of teaching put forward by the secondary conditions actually it helps the students to have the real attachments of work and a desire to do it efficiently and honestly as possible. They also emphasize should shift from verbalism and memorizations to learning through purposeful concern and realistic situation, right? So instead of being like the teachers not only teaching the students to memorize things and but then teach them to when they study or when they acquire knowledge, that knowledge which they acquire it should be purposeful, it should be applicable later on in their life. So these are the methods of teaching put forward by this commission. The next one is school administration. So every single aspect of school programs should aim at providing education of character. The close personal contact between the teacher and the people must be established and strengthened. Congenial conditions will be created for the right training of the character. Legislation should be passed making it an offense to utilize students at the early age of 17 for the purpose of political propaganda and election campaign. States should give financial assistance to NCC, Scout camps, and Junior Red Cross. Religious instruction must be given in school, but it should be voluntary and optional. Okay, so according to these commissions, they put forward this recommendation that uh, the school should make sure that they provide education of character. So mainly, actually, this commission they stress on producing a students who will be capable of leading the country one day, right? So they also recommended about the relationship between the students and the teacher, and it should be strengthened, and then uh, there should be interest of discipline. And also the commission also recommended the introduction of self-governments in schools. The government this government may be in the form of houses system with prefects or monitors of students council, right? The next one is extracurricular activities. So extracurricular must form a part of education program. So they also stress on extracurricular activities, which actually helps in the development of the students. And also the school should create a congenial atmosphere, that is a friendly atmosphere, whereby the students will not feel inferior, will not feel that okay, they do not belong to this college or they not belong to the schools, and then they will have that feelings that they don't want to go to school, so make sure that the school administration look into these various factors, whereby the students will love to go to school. The moment they wake up, they will like be, okay mommy, it's time for me to get dressed and then go to school, isn't it? And so, and also the commissions have put forward about making it an offense to whoever going to use students for the purpose of political propaganda and election campaign. So they also recommend that the state, okay, should give financial assistance to NCC, Scout camps, and Junior Red Cross at that time. Okay, and also they talk about religious instruction should be given in school, but it should not be voluntary. Sorry, it should be voluntary and optional. So no religious institution should force anyone to follow the instruction. But of course, like it should be given, like generally should be given the religious instruction, but that is up to the students whether they will accept it or not, right? So these are some of the recommendations given by the secondary education. Now let's see the examination system. The number of external examination should be reduced by introducing objective tests for the final evaluation of the people. Due credit should be given to interval tests and progress record. There should be only one public examination at the completion of the secondary school course. So in the opinion of the commission, the subject of examination and evaluation occupies an important place in the field of education. It is necessary for parents and teachers to know from time to time how the public are progressing and what their attainments are at any particular stage. So the commissions, they have recommended that the number of external examinations should be reduced, right? And by doing what? By introducing objective tests, okay, for the final evaluation of the pupils, of the students. And due credit should be given to the interval tests and progress record. And in today's, if you check out in today's ways of evaluation, also we talk about CCE, right? Uh, isn't it? And then whereby we also give more important on the internal tests, so the teacher actually knows the students well and they know whether they attend the class regularly or not, whether they perform well in the test or not. So the teacher have the responsibility to evaluate the students, and then should be given due credits to this internal test, and make sure that they maintain the progress record. And there should only be one public examination at the completion of the secondary school course, right? The next one is school building and libraries. The building of the school should be planned with adequate arrangement of air and light, and classroom should be spacious enough to accommodate 40 students. There should be arrangement for class library and general library. Trained librarians should be there in all secondary school. Teachers should also be given some training in the basic principle of library work. So basically you know the librarians should be trained one, and he or she should know how to arrange all the books accordingly to different, accordingly. And then also make sure that the classroom that the students sit, it should be there should be ventilators, and then it should be properly aired, and then it will be enough to accommodate 40 students. So teachers also should be given training in the basic principle of library work. Now let's see the guidance and counseling. Educational authorities should give greater attention towards educational guide. Train a guidance officer and career master should be appointed in secondary school. I think as of now, I don't know how many schools they have appointed a counselor in the school, but then now I think with this new national policy of education, soon the school have to appoint the school counselor, so that students will benefit from this, whereby he will have a balanced personality and he will be able to have a stable emotion, and with having a knowledge about how to address himself well, how to accept the way he is or she is, right? So it's very, very important that the school should appoint these career master or trained guidance officer in the school. The next one is physical education and welfare of students. All students should be thoroughly medically examined every year. Teachers should be given facility for physical training. Some of the teachers should also be trained in the principle of first aid. Proper nutritional and balanced diet should be arranged for the students. So basically, this physical education has become a different, a complete different discipline, and most of the students now they offer this subject, and once they complete this subject, they complete this degree and in physical education, they can, they have lots of scope. They can become gym trainer, they become coach of the football, basketball, in any fields they take, isn't it? So now in some of the college they have gym, and then they also have gym trainer who will be looking after this. And then and the teacher also in school, they should be trained in the principle of first aid. And suppose now if any teacher if any students get cut, then the teacher should know how to look into it and should give first aid to the student. The next one is teacher selection, welfare and training. The method of selection and appointment of the teachers should be uniform throughout the country. In the schools run by the private bodies, the selection of the teacher should be made by the committee, which must be included the principal of the institution. Only trained teachers should be appointed. Teachers who are physically fit and competent should be allowed to work after the age of 60. The teachers of same qualification should get the same salary and emolument. They should also get provident fund and pensions. So here, according to this commission, they said that the method of selecting or appointing a teacher, it should be uniform throughout the country. But then in school run by the private bodies, the selection of teacher should mainly be looked up by the committee, and one of the member of the committee is the principal of the institution. And whenever they're going to hire a teacher, they should make sure that they hire a trained teacher. Okay, and the teacher who are physically fit, they can work up to the age of 60, right? After that they will retire. And they make sure that the teacher of same qualification, for example, now if a teacher of secondary, they already complete BA and BEd, and so they have 3 teachers who complete BA BEd, that means those teachers, they should get the same salary. So based on, looking into the same, if they have same qualification, they should the same salary, same emolument. And this commission also, they make sure that the teacher should get provident funds and pension, which till now I can see teachers, they suffer a lot. And I hope that one day teacher gets its due, isn't it? And there should be a proper welfare for the teacher. The last year we come to the conclusion of this commission. This commission brings forth the concept of patriotism, social justice, good citizenship, democratic training, character building, free from prejudice, and quality of life. It also adheres to the need of girl education by providing facilities such as home sciences girls school, and bring about the importance of library, textbooks, which most of the previous commission has lacked. It also promotes the importance of education guidance and counseling. It also brings up the importance of health and physical education. Therefore, it promotes education as a whole. So this commission really touches all points of life, as already mentioned previously. So this commission has come out in bring about these different recommendations, which actually help out the students to maintain a balanced personality when they finish this stage. And these commissions really bring forth the concept of patriotism, because the teacher have to not only teach the subject, but then they also have to inculcate values of discipline, values of morality, right? So basically we talk about this commission. Thank you.